Welcome to Hot Takes on the Classics. Before we begin today's show, please go like us on the podcast platform of your choice. And we have some news. We are now on Substack. We are now on Instagram. Go find us and like us on both. We would really appreciate it. If you want to reach out to us on Substack, we would love to hear from you. If you've got a complaint against the brilliant hot take that I'm about to reveal about Anna Karenina, or if you just want to compliment Emily on her eloquence and musical taste, that's the place to do it. Just search Hot Takes on the Classics either on Substack or on Instagram, and you will find us. Okay, on with today's show.
Anna was not in lilac as she had intended, but in a low-cut black velvet gown which exposed her full shoulders and bosom that looked as if carved in old ivory, and her rounded arms with their slender wrists. Her dress was rich and simple. On her head, among her own thick black hair, which was so well arranged that it seemed like one piece, she wore a little wreath of pansies, and there were more of the same in the black ribbon of her sash. Her face was animated with a glow of animation and joyfulness that could not be restrained. Her eyes shone with a soft, steady light, and her lips were smiling as if in expectation of something. Welcome to Hot Takes on the Classics, a gossipy gallop through the best books ever written. My name is Emily Maeda, and that was the description of Anna Karenina at her entrance to the ball in the novel by Leo Tolstoy. I am joined by Tim McIntosh for our season on love, and this is our final episode on Eros, or romantic love, of our season. And we couldn't end with a more fitting novel, and Tim's favorite novel, if I'm not mistaken. Am I correct, Tim?
It is. It is.
Is it your favorite novel?
It's either this or it's Crime and Punishment, and it's kind of like, all right, is it Monday or is it Tuesday? That's how it, I answer the question. I will say, I think since there are 7 days out of the week, I would choose Anna Karenina 4 of the 7, Crime and Punishment 3 of the 7.
Ooh, that's a tricky way to say it.
Right? It's a tricky way. It's like having your cake and eat it too.
Yeah, definitely.
Emily, I cannot tell you how much I love this book just in doing preparation for it.
I know you love it.
I wanted to read it all over again. And it is not like you just breeze through Anna Karenina. It's 800 or 900 pages. It's absolutely a brick, but it's just so good. I am hoping that readers, if you have not read it before, that at the end of this episode, you'll say, you know what? I am going to invest the time. I'm going to read that book. And if you just read a chapter or 2 a night, you'll finish it in less than a year.
We have said that about a lot of novels.
I know we have.
That's all it takes.
We have.
A couple chapters a night, and you can do it. I will say that my dear friend Gabe, who loves Crime and Punishment, recently read Anna Karenina, and he feels the same that you do.
Does he really?
He really does. He
well
feels
done,
very
Gabe.
the same.
A man of taste and imagination. Come on.
How can we choose between the two? Because now Anna Karenina is right there with Crime and Punishment. So that's funny. But tell me more.
I'll tell you, this might be the number one reason. The book is not just about Anna. It's also about a young man, man named Levin, Levin. I want to be like Levin more than any other character in literature, maybe with the exception of Hamlet. Hamlet seems like a little bit too far to grasp.
Yeah, you don't want to be Hamlet. Come on.
Oh, come on. He's so, oh my gosh, he's incandescently intelligent. He's a man of like passion. But Levin is a little bit more bumbling, especially at the beginning of the book.
He really is.
But he is on a quest, and it is a spiritual quest, and he is also on a romantic quest. And I think both of them give satisfaction to both of those quests in a way that I haven't read anything that compares with it. I just think it's absolutely wonderful.
Yeah.
So, Emily, coming on the heels of Pride and Prejudice, and now we're reading Anna Karenina together, I want to say something about the marriage plot. So 17th and 18th and 19th centuries, there is a preoccupation among novelists about questions of marriage. So here's a quote actually from another marriage, a 2011 marriage called The Marriage Plot by Jeffrey Eugenides. Did you ever read that book, The Marriage Plot?
I did not. No, it sounds...
It's really good.
Is it a novel or is it...
It's a novel.
Okay.
It's a novel, and it's about a young woman who's in the academy who is writing about the marriage plot in these, especially 18th and 19th century novels.
Yeah.
So here's a quote from the book. In the days when success in life had depended on marriage, and marriage had depended on money, novelists had a subject to write about. The great epics, like the Odyssey, sang of war. The novel sang of marriage.
That's a great quote. And it's a great so quote. True. And it's so true.
So here's part of the reason why I think the marriage plot is so important for these 18th and 19th century novelists. Women are gaining more and more power in the Western world, social power, political power, financial power, more and more independence. And so this kind of question begins to develop in Western societies. You've got people who believe in social progress who would say something like this: come on, you don't oppose the social advancement of women, do you? And then you've got the other side of it, and people are like, well, I support the social advancement of women. However, I'm really worried about what happens to kind of the binding glue of marital life when women are not with their children, not with their husbands, when they're out making a living. So there's this kind of back and forth push and pull that develops in Western society. And it's such a electric, such a meaningful, such a scary topic that sometimes you'll be reading novels from this time period and a character will just refer to it as the woman question.
Right.
Right?
Yeah,
you know what I'm talking about?
That happens a lot in the Russian novels, right?
Yeah, especially
it comes in.
Especially.
It's
kind of funny. Oh. Yeah, please.
No, I was just thinking about what you were talking about there. And I think one of the interesting things that also contributes to this, because if you think about back to the Middle Ages, there are women queens, there are very powerful women. But part of this is centered around sort of the rise of the middle class and also industrialization, where the role of women really changes. You know what I mean?
It does. That's right. That's right.
So I think that that's also a big contributor. And so more pressure in some ways is put on marriage for more fulfillment, because in ways life has sort of separated, you know what I'm saying? Where previously people had worked and lived very much together. And this was sort of a question for the upper classes. But now people are going out of their homes for work. I mean, it really changes relationships.
It really does. I mentioned to my wife before we started recording, I talked about there was this question in the 19th century, the woman question. And and she was very familiar with it. And she said, I always wonder why it's called the woman question, because it is equally the man question.
It is. And it's equally the family question. Yes,
for sure.
Yeah, it is really interesting that it sort of fits there, but women's roles maybe are... Why is that? Actually, it's a good question. We should think about it.
Why is it called the woman question? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, or why does it center on that? I guess maybe because everybody's roles are changing so much, And the expectation of what you can get out of marriage is changing, I think.
Yes. So why does it get centered on? Why is it called the woman question instead of maybe the marriage question or the family question? Yeah. So
Anywho.
I think that Tolstoy is asking and attempting to answer this question directly. So like any great work, it has like immediate resonances in his time and period, 19th century Russia. But for me, it is a classic because it transcends that immediate question.
For sure.
And speaks to these really deep, eternal questions about romantic love and
Yes.
family, about religion and the meaning of life, about the relationship between the wealthy and the not wealthy, so
Yes.
aristocracy and
Yep.
serfdom. It speaks to all of these, and I think it speaks to all of them really, really powerfully. Really,
It
powerfully.
does, in a complex way that avoids easy moralistic answers, right?
Yes, exactly right. So listen, I want to, because the marriage plot is such an enduring framework for a narrative, I've got a question for you.
Okay.
Do you think that the modern rom-com is just the successor to the marriage plot?
I mean, yes. Is that a trick question?
Right?
Is that a
Yeah.
trick question? Are you tricking me?
It's just
Because
so
yes, I
obvious.
think
It's just so
so.
obviously, yes, yeah. Well, it just looks so different. Like
Yeah.
Crazy Rich Asians. Have you ever seen Crazy Rich
No,
Asians?
I didn't ever see that. And
Oh,
actually,
Emily, it's great.
Okay.
It's great.
okay,
But
I'll have to see it.
it's so glossy and fast moving that I think it might not be easy to identify it with a book like Pride and Prejudice or Anna
Yeah.
Karenina, which tend to be a little bit more methodical, not as fast moving, etc. But okay,
Yeah.
it was maybe more of a rhetorical question.
No. I mean, I think it's a good point. And the rom-coms, for everything, that people want to seem, I don't know, maybe too good for that. Like, they're endlessly appealing.
They are endlessly appealing. Endlessly appealing.
They never grow old. You could always
No.
see another one.
Completely.
So,
Tolstoy's writing a marriage plot. He's got a unique structure, though. He's not
Great.
just telling one marriage plot. He's
yes.
telling two intertwined marriage plots. As a matter of fact, I wonder if you know this, Emily. The original title was Two Marriages.
I have heard that now. I've forgotten, but now that you say that, well, and I mean, when we were just talking about Pride and Prejudice in the previous week, we discussed that in the marriage plot, you usually have to have many marriages, right? Because you're sort of, you're comparing them. They're doubles, or, you're playing them off of each other to see what each one yields.
The first marriage, of course, is Anna Karenina's marriage. But the other marriage is Levin's marriage. So Levin, early on in the plot, is fascinated with and wants to marry Kitty. We will talk about what happens with them, and we will talk about what happens with Anna's marriage. These two, like two vines, kind of intertangled and interspersed all throughout the plot. A word first about Levin. I love him so much. He's socially awkward. He's very independent-minded. He's got very unpopular opinions. And whenever he tries to defend them at parties, he always just kind of fumbles them out. They don't come out as cleanly as he wants them to. But he's so big-hearted. He
loves life.
He loves life. He pities the underdog.
Yeah.
He deeply identifies with his serfs, which is a little bit complicated because he's extremely wealthy.
Yes.
So, and the time that Tolstoy is writing is just before the emancipation of the serfs in Russia. So this is a very live issue for him.
Well, and don't you think that Levin's doppelganger is Pierre in War and Peace?
I do. And I think...
And we love both of them.
They're both Tolstoy. Yeah, they're both...
and they're both
fantastic.
Tolstoy.
They're both Tolstoy. Exactly right. Exactly right.
But you love them. You love them for their social awkwardness, I think.
You do.
I think that's the reason.
You felt that.
Yeah. So
We talked in our last podcast about you wanted, when you were 13, you were like, why don't I have like the quick wit of Elizabeth?
Yes.
And you wish you had said something with your friends that would have been that quick wit. Well, that's Levin all the time.
Right.
He's always kind of bumbling.
So
he never has the zinger.
He's not aspirational in that way, but he is comforting because we all say, that's really how I am.
Yes, exactly right. So listen, the book is really long, but I want to just say the plot is so tight. Proof, the book opens with a marriage in trouble, and it's neither of the two big marriages. It's the marriage of Oblonsky. Oblonsky's nickname, shortened name, is Stiva. Stiva is the brother of Anna. He's this... I always think of Stiva as like, he's just kind of a frat boy.
Right.
He's pleasure-loving. Sorry to all frat boys out there, but it's like he's never really fully grown up. He's still like drinking Miller Lite and watching Falcons games.
Yep.
So, aristocrat, minor government official, and let me read one of the opening paragraphs of the whole book. Everything was in confusion in the Oblonsky's house. The wife had discovered that the husband was carrying on an intrigue with a French girl who had been a governess in their family, and she had announced to her husband that she could not go on living in the same house with him. This position of affairs had now lasted 3 days, and not only the husband and the wife themselves, but all the members of the family and their household were painfully conscious of it. 3 days after the quarrel, Prince Stepan Arkadyevich Oblonsky, Steva, as he was known in the fashionable world, woke up at his usual hour, that is, 8 o'clock in the morning, not in his wife's bedroom, but on the leather-covered sofa in his study. He turned over his stout, well cared-for person on the springy sofa, but all at once he jumped up, sat up on his sofa, and opened his eyes. Every detail of his quarrel with his wife was present to his imagination, and the hopelessness of his position, and, worst of all, his own fault.
So good.
This brings us, Emily, I think, to one of the obstacles to someone who does want to read Anna Karenina.
Any Russian novel, to someone who wants to read any Russian novel. Yes.
Names, oh my goodness. So I'm just going to give you two, and then I'm going to talk about two ways that you can navigate this, because if you can't tell, I really want people to read this book. Prince Stepan Arkadyevich Oblonsky, whose nickname is Steva. And to make things hard, Tolstoy will refer to him sometimes with all of those names, sometimes one, sometimes the first, sometimes the last, sometimes the nickname. His wife's name is Darya Alexandrovich Oblonsky. Her nickname is Dolly. And so if you're reading through this, you're like, oh my gosh, who am I talking about here? Emily, do you remember that your husband has a technique for dealing with all this?
He sure does. And I'm teaching Crime and Punishment right now as we speak. So I have had this conversation with my students. My husband's, when he read Crime and Punishment for the first time, he said, you know what? Instead of trying to read the names, I just see the name and then I make up my own name. So his name for Razumikin is Razmataz. That's his name for Razumikin.
So every time he sees the beginning of
Raskolnikov,
he just goes, yeah.
No, Raskolnikov was Razzie, I think. So Razmataz was, So making up your own names, because I think one of the problems is you sit and look at it and it interrupts your flow, right?
For sure.
So but you do have to get used to the diminutives, which are hard. Can I tell you, it does help to understand the naming convention. So Arkadyevich Arkady is his father, and Alexandrovna, Alexander was her father. It's the father's name is the second name.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. And you get Ovna for the women and Evich for the men.
Oh, that is helpful.
Isn't that helpful? It just makes a little bit more sense of it.
It does. Here's another trick. It takes a little bit more time, but I would draw, honestly, family trees.
Yes.
And use it as a bookmark.
Definitely helps. 100%. So that you just get used to it, because there's so many, they use so many names for the same person. They use
so many names.
Yeah.
So this is going to be a story of Levin and Anna's marriages, but our story opens with Oblonsky. Oblonsky's cheated on... Say.
No, I was so confused when the first time I read this novel, I remember wait a second. I thought this was about an affair.
Right.
I didn't realize it was this guy's affair. Oh, good. Yeah, I was totally thrown off.
So Oblonsky's cheated on his wife, and who does he call to patch things together, Emily? Anna.
I know.
Anna is going to come into town on a train, and so when we learn about Anna, we learn all these wonderful things. She's a woman of wealth, the finest manners, the highest moral standing, and she is going to bring the couple back together. And there's just a little moment on the train station, where Anna meets a younger man named Vronsky. And you can tell there's just little sparks flying. But we don't get much. Vronsky's there to pick up his mom. But they exchange a couple of words. But Tolstoy lets us know something is happening here. Okay. Meanwhile, that younger man, Vronsky, has been courting a woman. Get ready for another long name.
I'm ready.
We'll just refer to her in the future by her nickname. Princess Katerina Alexandrovna Sherbatskaya.
Kitty.
We'll just call her
Let's
Kitty.
just call her Kitty.
We'll just call her
it's real
Kitty.
Easy.
So early on in the book, Tolstoy introduces all of our key characters, and then how does he bring them together? He brings them together in a brilliant set piece, just like Jane Austen did in Pride and Prejudice, at a ball.
At a ball. Well, and it's also...
sort of,
it's also a love triangle, right? Where
I say it was even more than a triangle. It's like this complicated geometrical piece. Yeah, pentagon maybe. Because, like, let's just sound it out. Levin is in love with Kitty. Early on in the book, he proposes. She refuses. Kitty is in love with Vronsky. Vronsky is in love with Anna.
Yeah.
Anna is falling out of love, if she was ever in love, with her husband, Karenin. So it's like a pentagon, a love pentagon. So the ball scene, to me, is incredible. This is one of the great scenes in all of Tolstoy, in all of Russian literature. I would say, like, in all of Western literature. Let me read just a little opening. You can tell I'm just like blathering about this book. The ball was only just beginning as Kitty and her mother walked up the great staircase, flooded with light and lined with flowers and footmen in powder and red coats. From the rooms came a constant, steady hum, as if from a hive, and the rustle of movement. And while on the landing between trees they gave the last touches to their hair and dresses before the mirror, they heard from the ballroom the careful, distinct notes of the fiddles of the orchestra beginning the first waltz. The little old man in the civilian dress, arranging his gray curls before another mirror, and, diffusing an odor of scent, stumbled against them on the stairs and stood aside, evidently admiring Kitty. Upon entering the ball, Kitty saw the exquisite figure and head of Anna Karenina in a black velvet gown, and he was there. Kitty had not seen him since the evening she had refused Levin. With her long-sighted eyes, she knew him at once.
Do you know what I'm thinking about? We should not really be speaking of a movie, but the movie that came out in the early 2000s, do you remember this version of Anna Karenina?
I think so. Is Keira Knightley the star?
No. It's a Russian woman, but they do this scene so beautifully. The music is Tchaikovsky. It's a Tchaikovsky waltz from Sleeping Beauty. It is so beautiful. And the importance of, like we talked about in Pride and Prejudice, the dance, the setup, the intensity, the music, everything. It's like sense overwhelm, right? Because everything is so pregnant with what may come about. Like, you just feel you're on edge.
I want to point out something that I think is masterful that Tolstoy does, is that he smuggles in this word, and I know it's an English translation. There are other ways it could go, but he smuggles in the word hive. From the rooms came a constant, steady hum as from a hive. Because Tolstoy is extremely skeptical of the aristocratic class. Extremely. And I think that he would kind of view them as sort of like just this kind of organizational, like, mind of workers that are just repeating each other's opinions, right? But I think at the same time, the way that he paints the scene, it's so elegant. It's so inviting.
You understand.
He manages to do both. He's a little bit skeptical. He has a little barb buried in there, but you also understand the attraction. Oh, I understand why Kitty would so want to, like, show well and wear this beautiful dress and charm the man that she's in love with. You can get the appeal and the attraction.
For sure. And you get it even uncertainty with her because Anna has so much.
Oh, yeah.
Is gravitas the right word? What's the right word
more
for
than
her?
Charisma.
It is.
I think it's gravitas.
Because she is so highly desirable and she is wearing a sedate gown, right? You know what I mean? It's she walks in the room and all the eyes are towards her, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Soon after this scene, the ball scene, Anna and Vronsky's affair begins. Kitty is devastated. She won't find out until later that Vronsky is having an affair with Anna, but she knows he has turned away. Emotionally, he's turned away. And it is, I mean, it hurts. It hurts, especially because as a reader, you know why he's turning away. You know what he's turning toward. Kitty disappears from the novel for a while. She goes with her mother. She goes to a kind of like adjacent to almost a convent sort of place. And she is recovering almost from what's a social embarrassment, but more than anything else, she's just, her heart
a broken
is torn
heart.
in half. Yeah, absolutely. So Vronsky and Anna's affair begins. Despite being married, Anna yields to her passion for Vronsky and is soon carrying his child. But I want to say, I'm jumping way forward.
Yeah.
There's a scene where Vronsky is riding a horse in a competition. He's a soldier, and he has this horse that he loves, beautiful, expensive, fast horse. And Anna goes with her husband to the horse race. And, of course, her whole being is tied up in seeing him race. But she's not yet told her husband that she is in love with this man. The scene is so powerful and so good. And there's an accident, and Vronsky's life is put in danger, and Anna can no longer hold it in. She's back in the carriage with her husband, and she just tells him everything. And it's like scalding hot water, like against your face. It's just these two moments back to back. They're so powerful. And now Karenin, who reminds me a lot of ways of maybe Mr. Bennett from Pride and Prejudice as a younger man.
Right.
He's distant. He's cold. Mr. Bennett has the great benefit of he's a great wit. He's very clever. He notices things. Karenin doesn't. He's just
He's
aloof.
Cold. He's cold.
He's so cold. So there's this problem that emerges in the book, Emily, and I wonder how you think about this. That I think we're set up to say to Anna, no, don't do it. Don't go with Vronsky. But the more you get to know Karenin, her husband, the more you're like, I see why you opened the door.
Yeah, it's pretty bleak living in your house. But when I read it, you are dying. You are dying the whole novel because you do understand the draw. But there is always that thing about her being like who she is at the start of the novel. It is hard to reconcile the explosion. Do you know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
It's hard to reconcile it because she is held up as like she's so good. And I don't think the good, I'm using air quotes, but I don't think the good is feigned at all. They're like, what is legit. This? It's legit.
I agree. It's why her fall hurts so bad. If she was just feigning goodness, then you'd be like, oh, yeah, it was there the whole time.
Yeah,
and it wouldn't hurt so badly.
It was an act she was putting on.
Right.
It was an act. But I don't experience the novel that way.
I don't either. I think she is, like in her heart, I think she is good. I think she wants to do the right thing.
Yeah. It's killing me.
It's why the book is so bad. Okay, so meanwhile, now, Levin, heartbroken from Kitty rejecting him, retreats to the country. So he's convalescing in the country. She's convalescing in Europe. They're apart from each other. Levin's just trying to forget her. She's not even thinking of Levin.
Yeah, she doesn't even think about him.
She's just got her own. She's just trying to nurse herself back to health. So we kind of keep checking in with the two of them. Most of the focus during this part of the novel is on Anna. Her affair now becomes public. now society begins to shun her. Vronsky's military career, he's got to make a choice there. He sacrifices it for Anna. And meanwhile, Anna's husband is wrestling with his own pride. How did I get into this position? And he's trying to like forgive Anna. He's having such a hard time doing that. Meanwhile, the most complicating factor maybe of all is that Karenin takes in Anna and Vronsky's child and is raising him.
This is one of the things that's funny about this novel, because as it goes along, I think Karenin gains in not likability, but he gains in credibility, maybe. Do you know?
Like,
and then you start wondering, oh, have we seen him wrong all the way along? Do you feel that way?
I don't think we've seen him wrong all the way. I think that at the beginning of the book, Anna is a virtuous character, and I think Karenin, frankly, is not. And I think as the plot moves forward, they reverse places.
Yeah.
I don't think that Karenin is, especially his choice in a second wife. Tough choice, buddy. Like you, man, tough choice. But I do think his heart has been crushed, and he's coming back to life.
And that's then the question of the novel. Anyway, we shouldn't get to the question of the novel, but within marriage, there were maybe other ways for him to have arrived at that point, right? That would have preserved the marriage. I mean, because he's shown to be capable. So then you wonder, why did she not seek that out from him? Anyway, keep going. This is the part, I actually don't sort of want you to keep going because it is so painful to be thinking about.
And also, I'm not going to give it away because if I want everybody to read it, they're going to be less inclined to read it if I give away what happens to everybody. I will say, we do need to know this. Levin and Kitty have an occasion to meet again. Levin is beside himself, but trying to be cool. She's already rejected him, respect her wishes. But he does get indication from Kitty that she has renewed her interest in him. And their rejoining scene is an absolute beauty. I won't spoil it for you. It's a beautiful scene. So while this marriage is beginning to kind of percolate, take form, Anna's is now driving toward open desperation. She's living openly with Vronsky. She's more and more insecure and jealous and isolated. She feels abandoned from him, even though he's not left. But all of her social respectability is going away. Okay, Emily, I'm going to try this on for you. This is not my hot take. I've got a different hot take. I think that when Tolstoy began writing the story, I think he was genuinely critical of Anna's choices. And he stood by those. But more and more, the focus of the novel shifts away from the blame on Anna's decision to leave her husband and get with Vronsky, and more toward the public realm, which takes everything away from Anna.
Yeah. I was wondering if you were going to say that, because I think that's one of the things that becomes so evident is that there is a double standard between men and women.
There is.
Vronsky, okay, he has to give up his military career, but he does not pay. Anna pays. Anna pays.
And the reason he gives up his military career is for her. I mean, he does it at her beckoning.
Right.
He's fine.
He could have stayed.
Throw him out. Yeah.
Exactly. This is a bit of a hot take that I've argued with off and on, but this is not your hot take. But this assertion that a friend of a friend made about all of Western literature. And this friend of a friend said, all of Western literature could come down to the fact that women always bear the sins of men. Whew. That's a bit of a hot take, isn't it? But if you start thinking about a lot of novels, that kind of happens. Women are the bearers of pain. And this novel is for sure showing that. Like,
I think Agamemnon might be like a case in point. This novel's a case in point. You like, when you start going through them, you're like, oh man, the list is long.
It's a pretty good one, but this one, wow, yeah, that I think becomes so overwhelmingly clear. Is that Vronsky does not pay. It's a little bit boys will be boys, right? But women absolutely can't be doing this, which neither one should be doing it. But nonetheless, society's double standard it shares a little bit with The Age of Innocence, that novel by Edith Wharton. Yeah. Right? That's a big contemplation of those novels is, what does the woman have to pay in societies like this?
Meanwhile, Levin and Kitty get married. They have domestic challenges. It's not they marry and it's happily ever after. One of the things that I've read a lot of Tolstoy, is that he does this really masterful job of setting you up to expect something. Like you expect Kitty and Levin, it's going to be great from day one. No, they actually struggle for a while. And so he sort of displaces your hopes and expectations. He raises them and then slightly displaces them and says, what you were hoping for may still be valid, but not in the way that you hoped for it. Yeah. Kitty and Levin are going to have a good marriage, but it's going to look very different than the one that Levin and you as the reader hoped for.
Hoped for, yeah. It's good. It's the mark of a great novelist.
It is. Anna becomes convinced that Vronsky's love is fading. She despairs, and I'm just going to leave it at that.
What?
Because I don't want to take away the end of the novel for people.
That's just the whole point of our program, is we tell the whole thing.
I think I'm making an exception this time. I know, you're right. We give them all away. Hamlet dies.
Hint, hint. It's a tragedy. Hint, hint.
It is. Right. Hint, hint. The novel doesn't close on Anna. The novel closes on Levin, who experiences this like deep spiritual awakening and a new sense of meaning in his life. One of the best scenes occurs when Levin is working side by side with his serfs, mowing grass with a scythe. I'm just going to read it.
Read it.
I love it so much. In the very heat of the day, the mowing did not seem such hard work to him. The perspiration, which he was drenched with, now cooled him, while the sun that burned his back, his head, and his arms, bare to the elbow, gave vigor and increased his perseverance to his labor. And more often now came these moments of unconsciousness when it was possible not to think of what one was doing. The scythe cut by itself. The longer Levin mowed, the more he felt the movements of unconsciousness in which it seemed that the scythe was mowing by itself, a body full of life and consciousness of its own, and, as though by magic, without thinking of it, the work turned out regular and precise by itself. These were the most blissful moments.
That's beautiful.
It's beautiful.
What he's describing there is like the joy of being in the flow of things, isn't it? Totally. And whenever you experience it, it's something to be relished. It's a great description of that.
If we had longer, I would ask you whether or not being in the flow always requires physical labor of some substantial
I don't think
measure.
So. But we should talk about that at another time.
Yeah, we should. Okay. Emily, are you ready for my hot take?
I'm so ready at what your hot take is going to be.
You might have to help me with this one a little bit. I want to return to the question of the marriage plot. So there's the question that's kind of looming, 18th and 19th century especially, is if women gain more independence, is it going to, as a byproduct, really crush the kind of fabric of society? Because let's face it, like women, there's a reason that there's a symbological tie between women and weaving.
Yes.
Women weave things together. Right? We see it in Penelope and plenty of other places. Women weave things together.
They weave society together.
Right.
They weave
It's more than just family.
It is.
It's society. Okay. So that question is kind of really front and center, 18th and 19th century. I want to tell a story, and then I'm going to give you my hot take. Several years ago, I'm teaching A Doll's House by Henrik Ibsen.
Oh,
so
another.
Ibsen, a devoted, this is like 19th century, right? And the question, like the marriage plot,
I know,
the woman question is front and center. And he has an answer to the question. He is a devoted champion of the advancement of women over and over and over in his plays. And his main character in the play The Doll's House is a woman named Nora Helmer. She's in a stifling marriage. It is so much like the marriage between Anna and Karenina. And
her marriage is
Torvald,
definitely worse. It's worse.
Is it?
Yes.
Karenina is, at the beginning, he's rough. Okay, that's another thing we can put aside.
Yeah.
Torvald is like wealthy, and he totally infantilizes her at every opportunity.
Yeah.
So at the end of the play, Nora decides, I'm leaving Torvald. I'm teaching this now, college students. I am fully expecting my students, especially my female students, to say, up with Nora, down with Torvald. And the guys kind of did. The women didn't, Emily.
That is fascinating.
It shocked me. I was like,
That's
wait,
fascinating.
Did you guys just read the same play that I just read? Yeah. They were saying things like, no marriage is perfect. Yeah. What's Nora going to do now? Is this really a good move? In other words, Ibsen wrote this very realistic champion for the difficult decision that women were facing in the world at the time, like Anna's decision. And my students were asking, is it worth it? So here's my hot take.
Okay.
I think the woman question is alive again in almost its exact opposite form.
That's a hot take.
In the 19th century. In the 19th century, the question was, is it okay that women move away from traditional domestic duties, husband, family, children? And now I wonder if the question is the opposite. Is it okay that an educated, competent, like firebrand makes the choice to stay home and devote herself, maybe not exclusively, but chiefly to domestic duties?
Well, I think you're right. I'm not going to argue with you. I think that it's interesting that your students react. I'm kind of surprised, to be perfectly honest, that your students reacted that way. But I think that this is what's coming up more and more with, and were you teaching Gen Z people, or was that a little bit before?
This was a little bit before. I eventually was teaching Gen Z. Yeah. But this was probably a little bit before that.
But I think Gen Z is really questioning all of these things. They're questioning, like, those women are right. What is Nora going to do?
Yeah.
You know, I think I was just saying to you that I had been reading about sort of divorce statistics, and that most men leave early on. Like, if a man's going to leave, they tend to leave early on in a marriage. But if a woman's going to leave, she tends to leave later, like in her 40s and 50s. And it's most often because of emotional unfulfillment, right?
Yeah.
But that I think Gen Z has lived on the receiving end of maybe women not weaving as much as they once did. And I think Gen Z has rightly seen through that. You know, somebody's got to weave. Who's it going to be?
Who's it going to be?
I mean, more often than not, it's the woman. It's not always the woman. I have a cousin who's an amazing stay-at-home father, but more often than not, it's the woman who's going to weave.
Here's what I wonder is, like, maybe another live question for Gen Z. The story for Anna and Nora in these two stories, the question is kind of like, are you going to stay in that unfulfilling relationship? You know? And I think the real question now also is something like, are you going to stay in that really unfulfilling relationship that's called your corporate life?
Yes, exactly.
Right?
We emancipated ourselves for this. This is what we're devoting our life to. Yeah, 100%. 100%. And also, it's probably finally an awareness, you know, as we were talking about earlier, so much got shifted to the marital relationship. And maybe it's also a recognition that the marital relationship has never, ever been able to hold that much pressure.
Right.
And that there is agency to seek not fulfillment outside of it, but like a fuller life includes more than just a passionate marriage, right?
Yes, that's right. Hey, let me close before our rapid questions with a word on translators.
Oh, yeah.
I love the old Constance Garnett translation.
That is really fascinating.
Oh, I love her.
Because I don't love it.
Fallen out of favor. I know you don't like it, but I seriously think she's an artist. And get this, Emily, she translated 71 volumes of Russian literature.
That's,
71.
That's badass. That really is.
And like the number of people who lined up as her fans, like D.H. Lawrence, Hemingway, Joseph Conrad. She was also the first to translate almost all of Dostoevsky's fiction. I'll close with this. Dostoevsky, you've got a question immediately after you hear this, and I don't know the answer to it. Dostoevsky once told a friend that he was unable to read Leo Tolstoy's War and Peace, quote, until I got the Constant Garnett translation.
What?
He wasn't able to read the Russian edition of War and Peace?
No.
Right, isn't that like... I've got a citation for it. Constant Garnett's English language translation?
AI? That's all I have to ask you.
It's a good question. Okay, rapid fire questions.
Okay, go.
I'm going to put you on the spot. Best old school rom-com male star, Cary Grant or James Stewart?
Oh, I have to say Cary Grant, even though I like Jimmy Stewart better, but Cary Grant all day long.
Cary Grant's so great. Best 1990s rom-com female star, Meg Ryan or Julia Roberts?
Definitely Julia Roberts.
Okay, good. Not a question. Best rom-com from the 1990s, Jerry Maguire or Pretty Woman?
You know what? I can't answer that question because I have seen neither.
What?
Wait, who's in Jerry Maguire? Is that Tom Cruise?
Yeah.
I maybe saw part of it.
It's great. Okay, Leo Tolstoy or Fyodor Dostoevsky?
You already know my answer to this. It's Dostoevsky.
More despicable. You're going to love this. Count Vronsky from Anna Karenina or George Wickham from Pride and Prejudice?
You know what? I got to go with George.
Yeah.
He's more despicable. Yeah. There's something about Vronsky. I don't know if we should, but we do kind of like him. And
I love him as a soldier.
Yeah, George Wickham. He doesn't have to. Yeah, he's more despicable.
I
loved it.
Emily, on our next podcast, we move into the final of our 4 different loves. We are starting to talk about charitas or Christian love. So stay tuned for that. This was our last conversation on books about Eros. We want to thank Clark Stefanik, our producer, who we are sad to say is leaving. Big things on the horizon for Clark. Blessings for his family going forward. Thanks as always to Tom Hagerman, who wrote our music and performed it. Emily, this was a great show. I think we went a little long, but I'm happy about it.
Well, it deserves it.
I think it does too. 900 pages. Emily, we'll see you next time.
See you, Tim.